Okay. Start new game, yes. So we won't see any cutscenes, so let's watch this
miss all
cutscene.
the lore. Yeah, let's get some.
I know.
But while we're talking,
can't
like
skip all of them.
OC's running the game, Juggernaut and Tampa on commentary.
I just wonder what Ganon's up to.
Your Majesty, Ganon and his minions have seized the island of Korodai.
How can we help?
It is written, only Link can defeat Ganon.
Great! I'll grab my stuff.
There is no time. Your sword is enough.
How about a kiss? For luck.
You've got to be kidding.
Squadala, we're off.
Wow. What are all those heads?
These
Oh.
are the faces of
Sorry, hang on.
Tampa's tassing right now.
each.
I guess I'd better get going.
Here is the map.
Okay, that was the intro
Wish to go.
cutscene. So
Yep.
we're ready to go. I will click on the level, and it starts when I get control of Link. So it will be a few dark frames, and then we go.
I hope this is better, at least.
No.
Wow, really? Interesting. Let's just push the talk then.
So to answer some questions in chat, this is Link. Timer starts, by the way. This is Link: The Faces of Evil, one of the 2 concurrently released games with its twin Zelda: The Wand of Gamelon for the Philips CDI in 1993. The product of a sort of failed partnership between Nintendo and Philips to make a disc attachment for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And it is a mistake, and it's the best.
It's not a mistake, are you kidding me? These games are really underrated, in my opinion. They're not as bad as people think.
It's sort of like Zelda 2 is sort of, if it weren't a Zelda title, it would probably be more beloved. Just the fact that it's so weird. But yeah,
So
we're
I'm
gonna
gonna-
miss a lot. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it safe and farm a few extra snowballs just for the sake of the marathon.
Yes, right now it's collecting a lot of snowballs. You need them to kill some fire enemies later on. And
Yeah,
the fire
just for
enemies don't
marathon
fire,
safety.
you need to ice enemies.
And it may be a mistake as to why these particular enemies have the snowballs at all. It may actually supposed to be the other type of enemy in this area, but get used to this sort of oversight. You'd think the blue, cold-looking guys would have the snowballs, but no, they drop rubies.
Yes, I think so. And there has been no confirmation about this, but it makes no sense for the moblins to have the snowballs.
So in each area you go into, you have 3 lives. If you die 3 times, you get back to the main map. So you have endless or continuous in that way.
Yes, and one of the hardest things about running CDI games is getting working hardware. I see some of you have noticed in chat that we only have mono kind of sound right now going on because that's just, it's hard to find a functioning unit. And it's not any fault of the capture card or the stream or anything. It's just because using 25-year-old hardware is a little tough sometimes to find something working.
And there are many different CDI units. A lot of them looks like old VCR players, but also some newer models that are a lot smaller. But they're all bad in general.
Yeah, CDI is a format. It's not a console. It was made like Philips and Sony collaborated to create what is called the CD Interactive. So it can have things like full motion video. You can have movies on CDI. But they also licensed out the format to anyone who wanted to make a CDI unit. So Philips made some, Magnavox made some, Sony even made a TV with a built-in one. So it's pretty easy to find one, but but it's pretty hard to find one that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you can open up your capture card settings and maybe just bring up the audio some.
No. That is... No, I mean, as in I cannot do that. It's the volume is set to the highest.
The controller he's using is, it looks like a Sega Genesis controller, where it has a D-pad and then 3 buttons on the right. There's many options for controllers, actually. There's a roller controller, there's a lot of remotes, there's a controller that looks kind of like a Super Nintendo controller, but that's the one that he's using, mostly because it has the fastest scroll speed, and it's very ergonomic as well. It's way ahead of its time.
I'm way more comfortable with the Genesis controller than the SNES controller. It's not a SNES controller, but it looks like one.
What's interesting about this Super Nintendo style controller as well, it's got a switch on it where you can flip it and reverse it, where you can use the D-pad on the right side instead of the left side. It just turns the whole thing upside down. So that's a fun fact. So this fisherman, what is he giving you?
He gives me the power sword.
What is the power sword?
It makes me shoot a laser beam when I have the full health.
And that cements this as a real Zelda game, because when you're at full health, you fire a beam. People might have noticed that the gomas, the giant crabs with a single eye, are definitely a thing as well.
Yeah, there are some enemies from the other Zelda games as well, even though some of them don't look similar. Like there are some gorillas in the game as well, which are from Zelda 2, but they don't look the same. But yeah.
So this is where he's using these snowballs that he was farming earlier from the other guys. They're dropping another weapon that he needs to use against an enemy that can't be hurt by anything else. They look like Yetis. We'll see them later.
So in this game, you don't really have any iframes when you get hit, so you can get a lot of hits instantly and die. That's why it takes some extra hits, some extra snowballs to kill more enemies to be safe.
Yeah, and although you have infinite continues, you don't have infinite lives. Or infinite lives, infinite continues. Basically, you can die, I think, what, 3 times in an area before it kicks you out and you have to start over at the beginning?
I can die 2 times.
2 times, okay.
Oh, 2 times and the first time you get out.
Yeah. And what do you call this area?
Reset Cove.
Yes. Because if you die for pretty much any reason until you get to the end, you have to go farm more snowballs, so it's not worth it for world record attempts.
No.
So in each level, you have 2 Triforce symbols. One that takes you back to the map, and one at the end of the level that unlocks the next level. Yeah,
so you'll see a lot of that where he doesn't seem to be doing anything in the level as far as like talking to NPCs or picking up items, but he's actually he has to progress through the level and reach the end, and that unlocks the next area that he's headed.
So if you time it right, you can do a double kill on the snow monkeys here.
Yeah, if you're super good like OC, you can do that. And also, you've got to watch out. It might be hard to see on the capture, but there's actually icicles falling in certain areas that deal damage to Link as well, that you have to watch out for. And you might see also there's some really hideous creatures kind of flying in from the side. That's kind of a theme of these games. This and the Wand of Gamelon also have just tons of kind of unfair spawns of enemies, especially off like the side of screens. So definitely need to be super good at this game like OC.
Another tough part about these games are the platforming. It's not always easy to see like where you can stand. So you have to guess sometimes, oh, that's too bad of the death.
Yeah, there's some doors and stuff. Well, what's great about this level is the Yeti monkeys, or whatever they're called, in the lore, they remain dead after you kill them. He just has to platform back up to them. So this game's a lot more of just like combat prowess that it tests you on, and the other one, Wand of Gamelon, is more platforming, which is tough to do in a game that has as few buttons and kind of as wonky platform controls as these do. So something about the CDI that may not be obvious just from watching it here is that the controller only has a D-pad and 2 buttons. So it really has to do a lot of contextual type stuff in order to do things like pausing and going into doors and stuff. So there's a lot of reuse of keys. So his 2 button, or what is in kind of the position of the B button on a Genesis controller, is super multifaceted. It uses items, it opens doors, it pauses if he's crouching. So if you play this game, it's actually very easy to waste items if you don't know where the door is, or if you don't know where the hitbox for the door is. and it's very easy to accidentally pause if you're crouching and you weren't thinking and you're trying to use an item. So there's all that stuff.
So you see it taking the jump there, because jumping diagonal, you have to press up and right on D-pad, which can be quite tricky. And the platform is pretty hard in these games. So like, it's very tight, some jumps in the game.
Yeah, again, with One of Game 1 being more platforming focused, it's a little tougher in my opinion. I've only beaten them because OC told me exactly what to do.
Also, that if you try and use your sword while you're jumping, it cancels the jump and you just fall straight down.
Yeah, so any game that requires you to press up to jump is probably in the wrong here. That lady has...
Really, yeah.
Go ahead.
One thing that's really good in these games are the music. The soundtrack is really good, actually. It's too bad that the volume is kind of low, I guess. But
yeah, I think this area is especially funky. Yeah, listen to that bassist. Oh, it's so good. This music's very good. It kind of reminds me of Genesis music with that bass track. Yeah, but that lady has some of the best cutscenes in the game. She's very fond of Link, and she makes sure that he knows that. But since we're skipping cutscenes, we're missing all that. But we don't have time for that. This is a speedrun.
So the game itself doesn't really have any randomness, which is nice. All enemies always spawn in the same place and go to the same area, and the drops aren't random either. But it can't drop any hearts, so you're always going to be low in hearts pretty much if you get hit.
Later in the game,
you can get. Yeah,
but later in the game you can get a potion, the Water of Life. Very helpful. And there will be fairies and stuff. So this is a 100% run. That means he gets all 6 hearts. He gets a sword upgrade. What are the other differences between this and any percent?
Well, basically, you get all the items and you get all the upgrades. But I just learned today that you actually don't need to get the second lantern upgrade, only the last one, which will save us a bunch of time, actually, which is nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, in 90% there's a couple of areas you don't need to go to, like skipping the lantern and stuff. But then you get to play the later levels.
Totally skip. You skip several of the levels, and you don't even do them. So. 8.
So here is a really good rupee farm, or ruby farm, excuse me, because these games are good. And these walking enemies are RNG based on whether they will drop a red rupee, which is worth 1, or a green rupee, which is worth 5.
No, it's actually not random.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's not. It's the same, but you can spawn them differently, so it may seem random, but it isn't really.
Okay. Well, I know for a fact that ones that are like crouching and attacking you are always green, but I guess just some of those spawns are also, even though they have the same animation and they look exactly the same, they have that's very cool. And there's also blue rupees in the game, which are worth 10, but we haven't run into any of those yet. Why is the bomb lit? It's because that way you know it's a bomb. But what he did there is he picked up some ropes and some bombs with all these rupees he's been collecting. Did you pick up any oil as well?
Yes, I did.
And lantern oil, because there's dark rooms that it's very helpful to be able to see in. If you're super duper familiar with the game and where all the platforms and stuff are, you could probably get by without lantern oil, but it doesn't make for a good marathon run. And also it's already hard enough to find where the door is with the door completely visible that it's not super easy here anyway. But he picked up ropes.
If you've seen Angry Video Game Nerd, it talks about like if you are in a doorway, you have to step out from the door, and then you can accidentally walk into a hole and die instead.
Yeah.
So the doors in the dark is really dumb.
Yeah, but the ropes, what they do is he can stand in an area and he'll press the button to use the rope, and it will just launch a rope right up above him, and he will basically like spaghetti up it and climb up to the next platform that it hits. And bombs hurt enemies and also are required to open some barriers, like that door was covered by a boulder. And now there's spooky ghosts. He will find an item later that lets him freeze any flying enemy, which is useful. But now he is not using the lamp like we talked about, so he's just going to do this anyway. But he knows where the door is because he'll see some spikes falling from the ceiling right by where the door is.
And the enemy hitboxes are quite interesting sometimes, as well as Link's hitbox. Sometimes you can walk straight through enemies without taking any damage, and sometimes they just kill you instantly.
Yeah,
It's kind of
like
hard
if you
to predict.
yeah, if you know how it works, you can do some really clutch-looking jumps like through enemies. Here's what this room looks like now that he's used the lantern, and you can see what he was doing completely from memory.
So, PDT, which is the current world record holder in 100%, talked about if using the lantern actually makes a difference in how many ghosts spawn. So that will be interesting to science out.
Yeah, I've never tried that before. Interesting.
But like it feels that you get less ghosts. Not on this screen though, but on the last screen.
Yeah,
I guess
that's some
it
of
kind
the
of makes
trouble.
sense, but yeah.
That's some of the trouble with being, of only a handful of people that run a game is you're like, well, I want to know something, I'm gonna have to do it myself, pretty much. He still hasn't tested it. Yeah, that's definitely worth sciencing. I would love to see some science streams. They're very fun. Here he is using some ropes, and
Ouch.
getting completely mauled by ghosts. Yeah, the walk cycles are very good as well. But yeah, we're missing out on a lot of what the redeeming qualities of this game is, because we're not doing any of the cutscenes, which are just hilarious. The voice acting is very good. The art is very good. It was actually commissioned through, I think, a Russian animation company, just to make all of the cutscenes, which were sort of based off, I think, what the cartoon looked like at the time. And that was sort of the aesthetic they were going for. But you can see how tough the platforming is with him kind of missing a jump that looks like he definitely should have gotten it. A lot of the bosses in this game require a certain item to hit them. This one is an exception. But you will see that they're a little underwhelming a lot of the time, because they will take a single hit from whatever the required item is, and then they will die. But
This one is the
requires-
exception, though. It takes several
This one
hits.
is the exception. So I started that talk, and then I realized that it was too early, but I was committed. But you can see these faces on the map. These are the faces of evil. The eponymous faces of evil that he has to go through. And now OC is showing us that if he goes into the wrong place, he can just turn around and leave.
Yeah, but it turns out that it was the right place anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, he's just showing us everything about the game. $1.2 million combined with a staff of 4 people. That seems pretty good. But yeah, these games did the whole concurrent release and slight tie-ins way before the Oracle games did. That you can't put in a code or anything to make it like New Game Plus or anything, but this game did it first. Remember the name.
These are Octoroks, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, they look kind of similar, I guess.
Their animation is very cute with how they spit out the rock. This is a very trolly area. This raft is very unkind. So hopefully we can first try this. But we're back to these guys that require these snowballs. Fortunately, we farmed some more from the snow monkeys. And since we are almost out of the fireballs, we're getting some of those as well. So everything's kind of baked into the route here. Yeah, you can notice that the shield blocks stuff sometimes. It just depends on the height of where you are and the height of what the projectile is coming at you. But unless you're really good at the game like OC, it's very, very hard to tell what's... and this is a super vertical stage. What's going on is there's these kind of pinwheels that are on fire, as well as the guys that throw tomahawks at you, whose name escapes me. But he's using a lot of the bell, which is the item that freezes enemies. It costs 5 rubies each time he uses it. But what he just needs to do is walk back and forth. There's ways to get around. There's just, it's a canyon. There's platforms and stuff. I'm very scared because he's at half a heart. But he knows where he's going because he's done this before. And this one at the bottom that's not moving is the one that he has to kill. And it's going to drop him an item. They're Hot Wheels, yes. That's exactly what they are. So there, he's got the
that
fire
was close.
diamond. That
Very
was
nice
so
one.
close. Clutch. He
That
did
was
it.
close.
But that item lets him upgrade his sword, so then he'll be able to use the sort of the laser from the sword at any level of health, not just full health. It's very useful.
But we won't get it for a couple of levels yet, so...
Yeah, it's not in the route yet. Alright, now he's going to go into this cave, which also has very good music. So please enjoy. Nice duck.
He's doing the duck walk.
Yes. So we didn't watch the tutorial, but there's an excellent tutorial where Link explains all the sort of mechanics of the game, including duck walking and smart sword, and all that stuff. I highly encourage anyone to open up a YouTube video that's just maybe a supercut of all the cutscenes, or you know, just anyone that isn't just dumping on the game just because it's funnier that way, because it does have a lot of interesting stuff going on and it's worth watching.
I might take an intentional death, actually.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're low on health at the beginning of an area, you might as well die to refill
I
health.
would definitely recommend it for sure. If this is the area I think it is, you'll see OC just like mountain climb like crazy up here. It's very cool. Yeah, I hope you don't have follow notifications on. You're about to get destroyed, I think. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, it's awesome. The rock climbing is real.
Yeah, PDT, exactly. Like, it looks nice, but it's terrible in terms of, like, knowing where to go and where to stand.
That cutscene's very great because the fairies have like chameleon eyes that move in independent directions. Also worth watching. Those are like flying sharks or something. Pretty spooky.
You know, the level is called Spearfish Falls, right?
I didn't know that, but that makes sense. There's a river, and I guess the spearfish are just leaping out of it. Yeah, but any flying enemy will be frozen. Here's a Gleeok, because it's a real Zelda game. And what he's going to do is he's going to kill it very quickly and sort of unexcitingly. And it's going to give him this necklace that he's going to give to that woman that we skipped earlier. You can die in the fairy fountain. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you can walk in the water area and die. It's interesting.
This Gleeok head will not give you a break. There we go. And further climbing.
I'd like you to leave a key on the right of the door that you need to open with the key.
Yeah,
Like,
fortunately
what's
the
the
key
point?
for the door was right there. You didn't have to go super far. Nice. There's bees and there's bats now. And now, yeah, this 3-frame animation woman, she's going to give him a power glove, which is so bad. But also it's useful for later. It operates kind of like the bomb. Costs 10 rubies and it's used to open a couple of doors, I think.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I'm not a runner of this game. I'm just an enthusiast, so I don't know everything. But I'm here to ask OC the right questions, I think.
There are some mechanic differences in Wondergamma and Face of Evil. Like for the bombs, for example. In this game, it takes 1 bomb to destroy a rock. But in Wondergamma, it takes 10 bombs to destroy a rock for some reason.
No, it's
But
the same here. It's just that some rocks...
It's only some of them. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you can
just
use the
like-
power glove to destroy them in 1 hit instead.
But like, it's set before... Oh, crap.
Oh no, spoilers.
Oh,
just
sorry.
like no, it's fine. Just like the Oracle games, there's some sort of shared items. There's some items that do the same thing, but they are like different actual items. Like the bell in this game freezes enemies that are flying, and there's an item in one that's the flute, I believe, that freezes enemies. So there's some items that accomplish the same things, even though they're different. And there's some that are kind of their own thing. Like this one has
You're not
a helmet that helps you jump, and the other one has something else that helps you jump. It's like a shroud or something. The other one has an invisibility item, and this one has some stuff that the other one doesn't have. So Again, this one did it before the Oracle games, and that's an intentional death here. He's just trying to get through. Oh, and I think, did you mean to continue?
I did not mean to continue.
Okay,
but...
yeah, so if you press a button during the continue screen, you'll and he didn't mean to there, but sometimes you're spamming buttons. I totally do that all the time. All right, I'm going to pay attention to the level names now so I don't make a fool of myself.
So now we're gonna enter the Saragon Caves. And here you can get the Ice Crystal for the first Lantern upgrade, which I now learned that we don't need to get.
The second time you visit here, the best cutscene in the game happens with the best dialogue option. But unfortunately, we're not going to see it because speedruns. But a person actually unironically says, curse the cursor with twice the curse, and it's very good.
So now that we actually have the Power Glove, then we have to use it on boulders, otherwise it's 10 bombs.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's another time that like the shield could have worked or not, and like really have to know where to position yourself.
You also have to stand still for the shield to work, and it doesn't work like instantly when you stop. It takes like a short half a second before it's active. Then you might get an angle of the item, the projectile that you can't block anyway. So
yeah, so when you watch runners play the game and you see them use the shield, it's very impressive and a lot harder than it looks for sure. You don't have to talk to her. I think you just have to continue through. So that's what he did. He'll talk to her later once.
I have to talk to her to get the shield later on.
Right. Yeah. The second time we get there, once you have the correct item. Now there's some more Gomas. Is this the area with the Zoras in it, or is that the next? Okay. No, I don't think we're there yet. We'll talk about them later. They're very spooky. Dude, nice bomb. He got the double kill there. Very good.
Yes, rupees are very useful. You need to farm lots of rupees the first time you play the game. As like a lot of items cost money to use, and you need to buy bomb and rope and lamp oil and stuff. So
yeah, when I first played through this game,
there's no like item drops whatsoever. No hard drops, no item drops. So like every item that we need and we have to buy.
Yeah, when OC gave me a guide to play through the game and I first played through it, I just doubled every number that was in there. He was like, you know, farm 20 snowballs. I was like, okay, I'm going to get a lot more than that. Because he makes it look easy, and it most certainly is not.
Yeah, the flying enemies are the worst in this game, so the bellies are very useful to stop them from moving. But it costs money to use as well, as mentioned.
It's especially bad when you're near the edge of the screen, because they'll just spawn on top of you. And like we talked about, the iframes are almost non-existent. And
they are non-existent. Oh,
okay. Even worse. In Zelda's Adventure, they're almost non-existent. And that's the only game that I think about. But a lot of times with these hand-painted backgrounds, you don't actually know where the platform is. There was a time that you'll see like when he's in kind of a bazaar and in like a circus basically. There's a few doors that are just like, oh, I guess that was a door. So I think playing this game casually would be really rough. Does any percent skip the item that makes invisible items or invisible enemies appear? There's a blue rupee. That's worth 10.
Yeah, you skip that one in 90%.
That's incredible. All right, so these are wall masters because this is a real Zelda game. The wall masters in this game are killable, but the ones in Wand of Gamelon are not, which is kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it's so unfair. Like, there's an item in Wand of Gamelon that makes you invincible, which you pretty much had to use to get past them unharmed. But it's still a lot slower to get and stuff. Yes, Mojo, you can.
Yes, it's so great. Mojo's game is Wand of Gamelon. Unfortunately, oh, they stayed dead. That's good. And if you get close enough to them, they have a very scary animation where they're trying to grab at you. and hurt you, and it's very spooky. Shout out to this skeleton that's doing like
you're
guitar on
referring
his-
to the wall mosses and not the skeleton, so it's
Right.
a bit confused there. Like, no, you're not
Yeah.
going to charge the aggro.
Yeah, you might get close to these ones. We'll see, unless you use more ropes. Yeah, that stair is unkind.
Hmm.
Oh, are you out of lamp oil?
Nope.
Oh, okay. You're just swagging it. That's fine.
Yep. So we are going to fight the boss Gorono again.
Yeah, we missed the cutscene. Well, we're gonna miss this awesome cutscene. So there's Zelda up there, but it's not actually Zelda. It's the boss in disguise, and it's got some good faces in it of Link being very surprised, but we're not gonna see it because speedruns. But yeah, we've seen this guy before. We're just gonna kill him again.
So like, for some reason you beat every boss twice in this game, and they
Just
also have the same cutscenes when you kill them. So
Yeah, they got lazy.
Yeah. Or they're like, oh, refights are really popular, boss rushes, except they put them throughout the entire game instead. Nice block, that was amazing. Like point blank,
Yeah.
stop that Yeti's coconut.
And there is sort of the Ganon's lair. He can go to the last area right now, but he needs an item still to kill Ganon, as well as this 100%, so you need to collect some stuff before.
Yeah, you don't have the bottle yet, or do you?
Yeah, he got the cantina, the bottle, yes.
Okay.
I do have the bottle.
But this is the second time we're visiting this lady with the great curse the curse with twice the curse line.
Yes.
And this time she's going to give you a mirror shield.
Yes, because I got the Crystal of Reflection from Gorono now that we killed him twice.
Yes. Did he just click on a volcano and end up in a snow mountain? That is correct. Yes, whenever you gave her the gold necklace, she gave you the bottle. It's just he's going so fast. I blinked and I missed.
Yeah, we have tried to submit these games to Games Done Quick a few times, but they don't want to accept them because they think their games are too bad for even the marathon.
Completely independently of each other, the world record holders for this and for One of Gamelon and for Zelda's Adventure, we all submitted without even discussing it with each other, and we were all not approved.
I did manage to sneak in a One of Gamelon run during a bonus stream, Games Done Quick 13, I think it was.
I will have to
15.
find that. That's fantastic.
But it was a really bad run, but it was nice to have it on anyway. And I did run at
Yeah.
the ESA a couple of years back as well.
Oh, I'm gonna Google you so hard after this.
Don't do it, they're terrible runs. Simply not.
All right, so this is the this sort of circus that we talked about before. Shout out to that really
Yes.
spooky looking door. These pigs are kind of the worst because they're half height, so you have to hit them while crouching, but they're on slopes and they sort of track you as well, so you're almost guaranteed to take a hit from them.
Yeah, it's very tricky to escape getting hit altogether.
Yeah,
And
that
I
second
hate
one
the
went
boss
really
in
well.
this
Though.
area as well. It's really unfair. Like, it takes a lot of damage every time.
Yeah, and this boss has one of the better cutscenes for a death. Again, unfortunately, you're going to miss it, but Google it. It's super good. Do these guys have names?
Not officially.
Okay.
Because they only like the
feel like
purple.
Yeah, I feel like the purple guys would have a hilarious.
Because this is the only level in the game, or for One the Gamelon as well, for that matter, that they exist. So
Yeah, that's kind of a common thing in these CDI Zelda games. Sort of one-off enemy usage. Yeah, the Darth Vader hats in One of Game 1 are great. So this mouth is a door. Like, who knew? There's Zols or dots. Thank you, Peeds. This is another screen that has a sort of secret door that it took me forever to find.
These are goofy looking in general, this area. This
Yeah.
big statue thing with a weapon and stuff.
I believe that bridge has a hole in it that you can fall through and die, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, so it can be a little punishing. And the fact that you can jump onto those skulls as a platform is also just a little confusing. Here, OC is going to kill the most enemies with a single bomb in the whole run, and it's going to look awesome.
Nice, I got all 5. Nice.
Oh, you crushed it. That was perfect. And yeah, they bankrolled him as well. That's awesome.
Ah, too bad.
Oh, darn. Man, how much damage does he deal per hit? That was huge.
The thing is that you have to kill him with the direct contact with the sword. You cannot use the sword beam.
Yeah, each hit takes 1 health from Link. 1 heart.
Okay. It's just he hitboxed him, basically. He got him stuck in a combo. And there's some places where, I mean, it's not quite a soft lock per se, but it's just a time lock. It was required to use a rope there. A lot of times you can use ropes just to get around faster, but there's also a few times where you have to have...
And there you have to use it. So if you are out of ropes, then you are basically screwed.
Yeah. So that's another reset opportunity. This is a new area where you can use trees as ladders. So you don't need to do as precise platforming as before, which is nice. Yeah, and just because that's a boss, you get to see it twice. Exactly. So you see he crouches every time he pauses. That's what we talked about, where the 2 button is sort of overused. It's a bit overloaded.
Yeah, you have 1 button for the sword and one button for everything else in the game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah, like...
Well, not sometimes, always, rather.
The CDI has fewer buttons than an NES. But at least we're not playing on a remote control. These spiders are also half height like those pigs, but they don't have the slopes going on. Yeah, up being jump is also criminal in any game.
And one thing that's nice about the SNES looking controller for the CDI, it has a speed button on it. I don't really know what it does though, to be honest. But it says speed, you can turn it on if you want to.
Well, so I don't use that one very much. I know the speed button on the Genesis style controller makes it so your cursor scrolls faster. So in this game, it's useful for the map, and in Zelda's Adventure is useful for all menuing. So
that's what it does. I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's advantageous to use the Genesis controller because it actually has 3 options instead of 2. So it's got like a super fast option compared to the SNES controller. The roller controller percent, yeah. The controller that's made for children. Very much, yes. There's also a mouse. There's several different types of remote. It's a multimedia machine. Tune in for speedruns of Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia sometime.
I have 1 movie for the CDI, but I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know like how the quality is and stuff. But
I haven't either, but yeah, all of them that I've seen are at least on 2 discs or more. Yeah. Maybe
I have a 2-disc version of Patriot Games in German.
Nice, yeah. I gotta stream movie night. Watch Top Gun or Addams Family on my channel. That would be very fun. There's a keyboard as well, my goodness. So this guy's really hard because you have to hit him in the head, which is super hard to do. Shout out to that guy's walking animation, it's very good. Sort of doing a head bob. But being at full health helps. I mean, otherwise, you kind of have to get comfortably close. And if you're very good like OC, you can hit him twice in 1 jump. There we go.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
And that was pretty difficult.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's by far the hardest boss in the game, so...
Yeah, that was almost quiet time. So he picked up the winged helmet from that boss, and if you use it, it gives you like a super jump, which is required later. Does that cost rupees or rubies?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Excellent.
20,
Of
I
course
think.
it does. 20?
Or is it 10? I think it was 10.
It's 10.
It's 10. Okay. But yeah, there's a few very, very long jumps that require it. And there's at least one other place where it's sort of the safer strat. Where you could very, very precisely like line yourself up and try it, but it's kind of risky to do that. This is the ship. There's another nice girl here who likes Link very much.
If you want to play it safe, then you can enter this level early and just get the heart container, and then finish the level later. But this is a speed run, so
That's right. No safety here.
Gotta go fast.
That's right. And so she's applauding, I guess. She's got a very good animation. Link does get all the ladies, except Zelda doesn't want to kiss him for good luck.
You got the beginning.
Exactly.
So this is a place where you actually have to use the winged helmet. Over
Yeah,
to get
so
there.
you saw he did an extra long jump there, and that's thanks to the helmet. Are you gonna?
In
are you-
90% runs, you don't actually need the helmet because you can skip this area in the game.
Right. The one place where it's possible but not required is near the end of the game. So yeah, you don't need it. And this guy upgrades his sword. He uses the fire crystal that he picked up a few levels ago, and now he's got the fanciest sword that he can now shoot lasers out of at any health amount. You didn't hear more about it because the CDI is not a beloved console, unfortunately.
And
Is it
Nintendo
weird? don't
really want to know that, want to say that these games exist at all.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't recognize these either for their official timeline or really at all. It was sort of made through a licensing deal that didn't quite go their way. Sort of contractual obligations let Philips use some of their characters like Zelda and Link and Ganon and Mario. There's actually 1.5 Mario games for the CDI. There's one unreleased sequel to Super Mario World, and there's another game called Hotel Mario, which also has excellent animated cutscenes just like this one, or great voices.
These are the dongos, by the way.
Because you can't wait to bomb.
Yes.
Exactly.
Are there any like good games for the CDI? Like, I don't know the rest of the game library except the Zelda games and the Mario one. There should
Yeah.
be something good, I guess.
Yeah, if you go on eBay and try to buy a CDI, a lot of times you'll find someone just trying to unload their entire life's collection. So it's not hard to come up with a super ridiculous library. It's got both Dragon's Lair games, it's got Space Ace, it's got Mad Dog McCree, which is very good. It's got a lot of movies like we talked about. It's got some sort of like some other like interactive titles and edutainment type games. So it's got a pretty expansive library if you like sort of weird or, you know, air quotes bad games. Or actual bad games.
I know there are a lot of like educational games, like and programs and stuff. I have one of those. Can't remember what it's called though. Yeah.
It's got Myst as well. Yeah, it's got a good FMV library, like Seventh Guest is on it. Unfortunately, for stuff like Myst and Seventh Guest, you should probably go for, you know, PC version or something like that, because the load times are a little crippling. They definitely blow up the game. Wow, that guy didn't want to die, huh? That's true. There is no copy protection, so if you can find the build, you can burn it yourself. The state of emulation is only okay for CDI, unfortunately. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is a 3DO title. It is not a CDI title, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of times people think it was for the CDI as well, but
Yeah, this is like the third time. Like even during the ZA run earlier.
Yeah,
I guess
that's what I want.
today for me because I've been up for a while, but yesterday that came up also, and I was watching some VODs of this game
today for me as well, and I've been to work after that.
Yeah, and I watched some VODs. It usually comes up. People try to bring in, yeah, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties 3DO. It's one of CDI's contemporaries. They're both sort of FMV capable machines, so it's definitely easy to confuse. I'm sorry, Timbo. Thank you for referencing it. It's a very good game.
Very good. Well, I don't know. It's a game, at least. Sort of.
It's something I'm way into. But there's something wrong with me.
Yeah, here we have the same boss twice in the same area, which is interesting. So they got even more lazier. So that was the Book of Cordia, which you need to kill Ganon. What you're going to see soon, it says that was the last area, I think. Oh, Lupe. Okay, I forgot Lupe, yeah. Last area before Ganon.
No, it's Hermit's Flat as well after this.
Oh, yeah. What do you get from Hermit's Flat? I can't remember.
You get killed by Zoras.
Oh, yeah, the sword. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
My bad. I haven't
Yeah.
played this in a while.
same though. So yeah, here's a lot of flying enemies. This would definitely be a place where, if you weren't as good as OC, you would want to use the bell. But he's just gonna swag right through it. Oh, and these guys have the best animation in the whole game. I love these dudes. They're doing a dance.
Yeah, it's those low enemies on the ground, which you can't kill easily. You
Yeah,
can kill with the power glove and stuff, but otherwise it's better to just jump over them.
yeah. If you don't want to go broke, just jump over them. Link likes to go through windows, and grates that he would not normally. Oh, there was one Darth Vader head, but he's gone now. I think there's a couple more up here though. He needs to get a
There's
key.
two Darth Vader's hats in the game. In one on Gamelon, they reappear.
There's the key.
Plenty.
Yes, you see a lot of them, especially in what I think is the worst level in the game, the swamp.
Actually, no, it's the forest.
Right, the swamp has the. It's got the caterpillars that look like
Yes.
like chests. Whoa, that's a nice chest. So you've got the key, so you can continue through this area.
Don't do it, Conky! Quenky, whatever. Don't do it.
We believe. It's so fast. It's a speedrun. It'll be over before you know it. Good night, Koenki. Oh man, I was afraid for your CDI for a second. It paused for an exceptionally long time.
Ooh.
Yeah, as mentioned in the beginning, like the CDRs are known to be really bad and break kind of frequently.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just that's the trouble with using antique hardware, is that sometimes they're just gonna stop working and you might not know why unless you're Skippy.
I bought one CDI and I managed to turn it on twice, I think. Then the third time it just didn't work anymore, so I had to buy another one.
Oof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a lot of paperweights as well.
Yeah, I think Pete said he has 6. I have no less than 5 CDIs myself. Because
Wow.
just
Fine as
trying
well.
to get one that works. And having spares and stuff like that. But some of them look like VCRs, like we talked about. Oh, this boss is really hard too. You have to reflect those green boogers. But OC knows where to stand, so it'll be okay. Well, except for now, I guess. There we go. Nice job. That was awesome. Yeah, the really big, heavy metal ones that are kind of shaped like VCRs are really reliable. There's later ones that are like that were actually marketed as game consoles, since originally it was marketed as a sort of multimedia machine. But the game console ones don't read discs as well. And their laser might be just worse or more portable, but unfortunately they're less useful. So this is the Hermit Falls, Hermit Heights. What's it called?
Hermit Flat.
Hermit Flats. The one word I couldn't think of. In this level, there are 3 Zoras that'll pop out of this sort of goopy swamp that deal, I think, 2 or 3 hearts of damage. So you just really have to know where they are, so you don't get completely murdered by them. So yeah, you can block their stuff with your shield, but you just have to know where they are. They'll shoot you in the back, and you will die. Yeah, but it's a real Zelda game. There's Zoras. Good block. And this is another place where I think you need the helmet?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Like, I have tried to science it, but there's no way, I think.
Yeah, that last one is super hard to get. without taking a hit. So you really want to get the first 2 without getting hit, so you don't die to the third one.
Okay, Ganon. So now I get the lantern upgrade, which makes the enemies visible. As in the last area, you have invisible enemies. Which in the 80% run, you skip the item, but this is 100%.
So you're just, you're getting mauled by invisible enemies through the whole final level. We're hurting Zoras because you hurt Zoras.
These large flying things are invisible if you don't get the lantern.
Oh, even those guys? I thought it was just the green guys in the last level.
No, these guys too.
Wow.
And
so
their
their
hitboxes are huge. So
yeah.
But I have no issue doing this level without the lantern. But this is the 100% run, so.
And as mentioned before, like there's no randomness in the game, so you can always know where the enemies show up, so you can kind of predict the pattern. Which is nice.
So that last Zora before he got into here doesn't deal as much damage as the other 3 for some reason, because why not? These green guys are also invisible without the lantern.
Oh.
And this is a place where the helmet is recommended but not required.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, platforming's hard.
I missed that jump in like 1 time out of 50, but of course I have to miss it this time.
Marathon, yeah. Dude, I died in the Shrine of Fire. Like, it's marathon.
Okay.
It happens. So fortunately, since using the lantern costs 5 rupees, each one of these dudes dropping 5 rupees is basically you get free lantern usage.
No, I'm just legit bad.
You can use the helmet instead, I guess.
No!
No, the swag must be maintained.
I guess. Go for it.
Oh wow.
5 more minutes, tops.
Yeah, tops 5 more minutes.
No.
First try. Oh, these leeches or snakes or worms or whatever they are awful. They will camp in your hitbox and just immediately murder you. It's the pits.
They are just called worm, by the way.
They're worms. Okay, that is one of those words that I said. At least I said it this time. But yeah, you pretty much. I don't think you can even hit them if you're crouching. You have to get them like either from below, or like use an item like the bomb or whatever. Oh, and so that was his 3rd death, so he didn't get a continue opportunity. He has to jump back in from the beginning.
Oh, well.
There is sound in this game. You do have to turn it up a little bit. It's only coming through the left channel. If you don't have that enabled, that might be what issue you're running into. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Since I'm on the restream, then I'm not catching that. I see. So that's the Zora that doesn't deal as much damage as the other Zoras, thankfully, because he gets a few free hits in. But we're just going to first try through all this other stuff. It's going to be NBD. Do you have a Water of Life?
I do, but I would like to save it.
Yeah, you don't need it.
There are a couple of areas in this the last section of the game, so you want it later on, just to be safe.
Yeah, for sure. Like having a full heal in the middle of a level is super vital.
Oh, that's jump.
That's one of the hardest jumps in the game for real, and that's why it's sort of recommended to use the helmet there. If your pride's not on the line. But this is just a glorified rupee farm right now, because these green dudes can't handle you, because they're not invisible anymore.
Okay, we'll do the Wind Helmet of Shame.
That's its full name. That's its full name, of course. They couldn't fit that whole string in there. There we go. It's the trouble with being one of the best in the world, is you hold yourself to a very high standard. You're probably winging Hellbent across that gap, right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
But
You just won't, though.
I'm just used to having a tight set of rubies, so
That's true. And so there's the refight on that guy. He's dead again, and we saw the cutscene again. You've given up on YOLO stress, losing runs to that jump. Yeah, that jump is brutal.
I usually never have any troubles with that jump. But of course, I have to have trouble with it during the marathon. So,
And these worms that you're seeing are prominently featured in the swamp level of Wand of Gamelon. We've also got these excellent flying snakes.
Yeah, and they're so annoying. Like, if you walk against them, you can take so much damage to die instantly because of
Yes.
the iframes.
yeah, because you kind of like get stuck on them, and then you're basically screwed.
Yeah, you can't like walk through them and then don't knock you back. And there's no iframes. So if they start pushing into you, then you're pretty much dead forever.
Another problem is when you have low ceilings, as then Link is going to jump up in the ceiling and drop instantly. So you can't even jump over them in some instances. So you just die.
Shout out to this library card catalog that has skulls in it. For some reason. But we're on our way to Ganon, because this is a real Zelda game. And we're going to kill him. Once we get there.
With a book.
Yes. We're going to throw the book at him, quite literally.
Yeah, no layers its power.
Yeah. This book links together the two CDI Zelda games that are linked together, because it appears in both. Oh, rough.
But the final fight is kind of pathetic, really. You just throw the book at him and he dies.
Yeah, just like all the other boss battles, you just use the item on them once, and then they die.
Time is coming up, by the way.
Time is whenever you... Yeah.
When I hit the gong.
You can still die in that room after you kill Ganon.
Time.
I've done it. And for the restream, time will be right now.
Nice, good stuff.
Awesome run, OC.
Why'd you
Give
was
some
the
love
time?
to the runner.
I just saved you from Ganon.
You did not.
Time is 55:59.
Ganon.
Yeah,
Ooh.
with this we end
Okay,
with a
that
final
was
time of
very
55:59.
bad.
Already Koridai is returning to harmony.
Thanks a lot, OC. We will enjoy this quick cutscene for a while, because it's good.
Yeah.
Do it.
Thank you for having CDI games, ZeldaSpeedRuns. It's been a blast.
I guess that's worth a kiss, huh?
Yeah, so that was the Faces of Evil.
And thank you, Tampa, for jumping in last minute. Very good.
Yeah,
editing.
really.
No problem. Too bad I don't know the game that well, though. I don't know nothing else.
Okay, so that was fun.
Alrighty then.